What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about DC versus Vampires World War V issue number 5. This one is written by Matthew Rosenberg with artwork by Otto Schmidt, and then there's also a backup focusing on Black Lightning, but primarily I want to focus on the main storyline itself. So DC versus Vampires continues to be really good stuff. I mean, the artistic style looks great. You really feel that sense of dread, like hopelessness, that everything is pretty much just, there's not going to be anything left at the end. Like, I mean, everyone's just kind of on their, like, basically their last stand. The vampires are, you have the humans, and you have Da-mian, who's kind of on his own little spot with there. Like, he's, you know, Alfred's there to protect him. We do find out who Batman was, and Sean absolutely called it last video. I'm like, you know what? It's got to be Ra's al Ghul. That's right. We finally get, like, Ra's al Batman, which is something I never really would have, like, thought of before the start of the series, but I think Ra's being Batman is actually kind of a cool concept because, again, it's something new and kind of interesting. We're getting to see some dynamics play out that you don't really normally see within the main universe. I do find it interesting that basically, like, the only members left of, like, Damian's family are, you know, like, his two basically, like, grandfather figures. I mean, Alfred basically kind of is like a grandfather to Damian, and of course Ra's being the other one left over. So that's going on there. We also do find out that Barbara Gordon is still alive, although she is pretty much on death's door. But then we have this mysterious figure wanting to, like, get the baby of Mr. Miracle, because could be the cure, like, for, like, everything the vampires are looking for. Because I think something about this baby being born a vampire or half vampire or whatever it is, I don't exactly know. Maybe it's something to do with their DNA, but they are the key to it all. The chosen one. Then, of course, we have John Constantine. Looks like he's dealing with the Spectre here. And again, there's so many different moving pieces going on with this thing. We have Ra's there. Damian lets out his frustrations with him. Ra's tells him, you know, that despite everything, like, he still, like, loves his grandson and cares for him. That's why he's kind of doing this thing. He even wants him to kind of turn him into a vampire as a means to kind of, like, their means to stop the vampires and kind of lead them. Damian's just about to, but Alfred's like, absolutely not. And Ra's, of course, does not really seemingly like Alfred right here, and they get into a bit of a scuffle, and then they kind of look around like, where's Damian? And they kind of freeze right here, so, because they're trying to pull him to, like, either side. Damian wants them to stop fighting, but, you know, Ra's thinks, like, him a manservant beneath everything. He brings up the question, like, you had this Green Lantern ring this whole time, why didn't you use it beforehand? So there are some interesting things going on there. We also have a usage of Ghostmaker, Mr. Miracle, of course, and we have all these other characters showing up too, like these villains. Like, you find out, like, there's, you know, Vampire Raven and Shazam and all that too. I wonder where Cassie's at, because, like, in the last issue, like, Damian was kind of saved by Ra's, but we didn't really see, like, where, like, the rest of them went. Then, of course, at the end of it, we have Green Arrow and his faction. Damian shows up to kind of converse with him, wanting to kind of join their cause, and, you know, Ollie's about to kind of pull the arrow, and it's left ambiguous. And I don't know, Ollie killing Damian, I don't feel like he's going to do it in this next issue, because, you know, Damian is just kind of tired of the whole thing. So he wants to get revenge on the vampires, obviously. So he's now turned to Oliver Queen, because he knows things. He wants him to kind of tell the truth. Damian's whole thing is, I'm here because I led my people into an ambush, and the Queen's Guard slaughtered them all. Then Wonder Woman killed my mother. I lost everyone. Now I have nowhere left to go. So Damian's pretty much, like I said, nowhere left to go. His mom is dead. Alfred did kind of converse with him, being kind of upset that he couldn't save her. And of course, Ra's is upset, having seen what happened with Talia and all that too. So, like, everyone just kind of lost everything. Like, there is, like I said, this real sense of dread and sadness within, like, the confines of the storyline. And we're getting to see different dynamics at play. Everything's kind of set in motion. Like, I feel like it's good that we spent so much considerable time with each and every faction, basically, because, like I said, like, now we kind of have everyone's motivations. We kind of see what they're all going through, and then when it all culminates, it's going to make it more, like, impactful and kind of awesome too at the same time. But again, we end on this cliffhanger note with Oliver Queen right there. He has the arrow pointed at Damian, or he's like, is he going to shoot him? I don't think he is, because we spent so much focus on Damian. It would just feel like, because he's kind of like side number 3 within this conflict, because he's, you know, a vampire, but he's kind of against the vampires. But now he's kind of turning with Oliver. It just feels like we're going to lose a lot of story potential if we kind of kill him off so soon. So, and there's so much heavily focus on him that just to kind of take him out of the picture, like, you kind of just eliminated something, like, major so soon. So I don't see Damian getting killed, at least yet. Maybe in, like, the final issue, because we still have Barbara Gordon and all that too. Like, I don't know. It feels like there's more story potential to kind of tell. And with him out of the picture, I'm like, who else do we really have left? We have Ra's and Alfred kind of there. Then we have kind of some remaining humans. So I feel like he's not going to get killed off. in this, at least for a little while. We'll see kind of what Oliver does, but I don't know. I just feel it would feel kind of off if he's like kind of taken out after just coming to kind of talk with Oliver right here. Because I feel like Da-mian has to be there at the end because of like how much focus has been on him in the first series, and even so in this one, kind of being his own faction, you have everyone kind of after him. But I'm excited to see it all kind of unfold because, like I said, there's some really awesome, exciting stuff within the storyline. So that's the main one, and then we have the backup storyline, which is written by Matthew K. Manning and then Aki Bright. This is a Black Lightning focused storyline. Not much else to say about this one. It's him kind of traversing the lands in this whole vampire world, and he kind of kills somebody, and it's kind of like to be continued. That's pretty much all we really got with it so far. We'll see what it does with the next couple issues. I don't think it was as exciting as the backups beforehand. We were focusing on, who was it? Batmite. And how like he has to cope with the fact that Batman is gone and try and find someone else to kind of model himself after. So I thought that one's a little bit more interesting. But for this one, like I said, the Black Lightning thing, we'll see what they do with the next couple of backup storylines. But DC versus Vampires, we're only at issue 4, and because we have all the different moving pieces and there is an interesting storyline at play with the different factions and everything, I definitely recommend checking this thing out. Ra's Batman, something I called in the last issue, like, it has to be Ra's, and I thought that was a cool idea, and we're getting to see some really cool ideas. We're getting to see Alfred and, like, Green Lantern Alfred and Ra's Batman together, which, like I said, that's an interesting idea. And I think the dynamic at play too, because like they both love and care for Da-mian, but their methodology is so totally different. Alfred obviously is one of more kindness and compassion, whereas Ra's definitely has kind of this like more ruthless side to him. But again, there are some gray areas to Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul. You know, I've always kind of pronounced it both ways. But if I say Ra's, everyone knows, or if I say Ra's, everyone knows. But yeah, so now that they're going to have to kind of force to work together, I think would be kind of fun and exciting. Of course, we had the Mr. Miracle Baby, and then we have John Constantine, and then you have the villains here, and you have these other shadowy figures. I don't know how this storyline is really going to end, and I kind of like that, where it's like every issue, like they keep adding new things and new twists and turns, and it's exciting because like a lot of other storylines, you can kind of predict things, but this one, I feel like they can go in like 100 different directions at this point. So that's what's kept it interesting to me. And of course, like I said, the Otto Schmidt artwork is quite good. Really captures the bleak tone of the storyline. I don't really have too much in terms of major complaints. Again, there are a lot of different moving pieces, so I guess, you know, there is a lot going on, so it sometimes can be a little bit hard to kind of keep up with everyone else's different plot lines, and I think some are more interesting than others. Like I said, Green Lantern Alfred and Ra's Batman to me are some of the more interesting stuff, but again, like, and I do feel like some other characters I could use a little bit more of. Like, I mean, Raven's in there as like a vampire. Like, I want to see more of like her doing stuff too. Like, and I'm still kind of curious, like, how is it that Da-mian's able to like resist the whole vampire thing, like joining their side? Like, is there something special about him that we just haven't gotten to just yet? Because like maybe a few characters have been able to kind of resist her. Maybe his willpower is just that strong. I still wanted to see him wield a Green Lantern ring, but it seems that that's just not going to be the case. Instead, we got Alfred doing it. And I love too how like in DC's we get the Spectre Alfred and Green Lantern Alfred in this thing. It's just nice to see Alfred stuff because he's out of the main continuity for right now, unless you count like flashback stuff. But man, I am really starting to miss Alfred too. But like I said, it's like, do they bring him back and kind of take away from like the impact his death had? I don't exactly know. Like, we'll see if they ever bring. I'm sure at some point they'll find a way to bring Alfred back, but it's been a couple of years now at this point, so we'll see exactly what they kind of do. But overall consensus, like I said, I really like DC versus Vampires World War V issue 4. I think this is a pretty solid series, and if you're not reading it, it's definitely worth checking out. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this particular issue. What did you think of it? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit that bell for notifications, all of the fun stuff. I will be back again. I got 2 more comic book reviews I want to get out to, like, hopefully today. By today and tomorrow, there's Absolute Batman #2, which I haven't read yet. And in terms of the Godzilla stuff, there's the final issue of Godzilla Here There Be Dragons 2, Sons of Giants, which is now really going to lead into a 3rd series. But we'll talk about that when we get to that one. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Hope everyone's having a nice day, and I will talk to you all later. Peace out, everyone.